Alright, this is Unit 5, Formula 2, Day 1. We're going to solve by factoring. So if you remember, we're going to start exactly how we ended, where we have our x squared plus bx plus c, with the exception of now we have to have our equation equal to 0. Right? So before, where you were used to something like this, okay, and now we're just going to have an equal sign and equal 0 on that. But we're going to factor just like we did before. Okay, alright, let's get started. Okay, so right here we have x squared plus 5x plus 4 equals 0. The first thing you need to remember is that you always have to have it equal to 0. It can't be equal to a 2 or a 7x or anything like that. It has to be equal to 0. Okay, there's nothing I can factor out of all of them, so I'm going to go ahead, draw my two parentheses. Okay, so my x. Okay, so I want factors of 4 that add up to 5. That's 4 and 1. So we can check. That's 1x, and then that's 4, and that gives me 5. So I know I did it correctly. Okay, so I'll go ahead and erase that so I have room. Alright, now we're going to solve for our x. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to take each one of these parentheses, okay, and set it equal to 0. So I'm going to take x plus 4 and set it equal to 0. And then I'm going to take x plus 1 and set it equal to 0. Okay, and then I'm going to solve both of them. So on the first one here, okay, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 4, and I get x equals negative 4. And then over here I'm going to subtract 1, and I get x equals negative 1. So my two answers are negative 4 and negative 1. Okay, or you can just circle those. And what that means is that I can plug either one of these, negative 4, negative 1, into my problem, and I'll get a true statement. So we'll just do one. We won't have to do this every time, but I just want to show you what it looks like. So if I plug negative 4 in, so negative 4 squared plus 5 times negative 4 plus 4, and I want that to equal 0. So negative 4 squared is 16 minus 20 plus 4, that's negative 4 plus 4, and that equals 0. So when I plug negative 4 back in, it equals 0. Okay, and now when I plug negative 1 in, it's going to also equal 0. So that's negative 1 minus 5, sorry, that's plus 1, minus 5 plus 4, so that's negative 4 plus 4, and that equals 0. Okay. So the two numbers, if I plug either one of these in for my x's, it's going to come out a true statement. Okay. And how we know that is, this is x squared. That tells me that there's two answers. If this were x to the third, there'd be 3 answers. X to the fourth, there could be 4 answers. Okay. Alright, so we don't have to go back and check it, but let's go ahead and do another problem. Alright, this one is not solved for 0. If you notice, it equals 10, so I need to move my 10 over. So we have 3x squared plus 13x, and now when I move my 10 over, it becomes a minus 10. Okay. Now there's nothing that'll factor out of all of them, so I'm going to go ahead and write my two parentheses. Alright, we're going to check. So we want factors of negative 10. I'm going to go 10 there and 1 there. Oops, minus 1, sorry. Alright, so check. That gives me negative 3x. That gives me 10x. That gives me 7x. So that won't work. Okay. Alright, I'm going to try 5 and 2 now. Alright, and I'm going to go plus and minus. So that's 15x. Minus 2x is 13x. Okay, so that's what I want. So I know that one's going to work. Let me go ahead and erase this. Okay. Alright. Now I have two sets of parentheses, so I want both of them to be set equal to 0. And I'm going to solve both of them. This one's easier, so I'm going to do this one, move my 5 over, so x equals negative 5. Okay, this one I'm going to add 2. So you get 3x equals 2, divide by 3, and x equals 2 over 3. And there are my two answers. Let's do another one. Okay, again, this one's not equal to 0, so I need to move the 7x over. Now make sure you put it in order. The 7x is actually the middle term, so I'm going to move it in front of the minus 30, and when I move it, it's a minus 7x. So 2x squared minus 7x minus 30 equals 0. Okay, can't factor anything out. So I got my x's. Bring down my equals 0. Okay, I'm going to try 5 and 6. Now one has to be negative. Okay, so that's negative 12x, 5x, negative 7x. That's what I want. Okay, so I know I have those. Now I'm going to split my two parentheses up. So I have 2x plus 5 equals 0 and x minus 6 equals 0. So that's going to be x equals 6, right, because you add 6 to both sides. Subtract 5, 2x equals negative 5. Divide by 2, and x equals negative 5 over 2. So my two answers are 6, that's a plus 6, and negative 5 over 2. Okay, alright, just one more. Alright, again, it does not equal 0, so I'm going to go ahead and move both of these over. Okay, and when I move them over, I'm going to change the signs. So I have x squared minus 3x plus 2 equals 0. Alright, two sets of parentheses, my x and my x. And factors of 2, that add up to negative 3 is negative 1 and negative 2. Alright, now let's split them up. So we have x minus 1 equals 0 and x minus 2 equals 0. Add 1 to this one, so we get x equals 1. Add 2, and x equals 2. So my two answers are x equals 1 and x equals 2. Alright, and that's it. Good luck. We'll see you in class.